Welcome back. As promised, we head to a few of the local hockey rinks around here to catch a few prep girls hockey teams who showcase their skills on the ice tonight. First up, it's Duluth Northern Stars welcoming the North Shore to their house tonight. While the North Shore opened up their season tonight, the Northern Stars are looking for their very first win after dropping their first two. In the opening period, Duluth has a turnover, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 break, but the freshman wins the battle to the net. Berkeley Hoff sounds the horn just minutes into the first period. It's 1-0 North Shore. But good teams find answers, and that's what the home team does. Grace Carcass passes right out in front to Haley Trudy, who sees nothing but space. She scores her first career goal to tie this one up at 1 apiece. Then 2 minutes later, Duluth on a 5-minute power play. Trudy gets denied, but puck is loose after the bounce, and Lucy Fellman gets through both defenders to earn her first goal of the season to claim the lead 2-1. With just 13 seconds left in the 5-minute major, the Stars power play was firing. Carcass looking for someone down low. Her shot bounces off the North Shore stick. The puck trickles in for a 3-1 lead, concluding the first. The Duluth Northern Stars hang on in period 2 and 3 to earn their first win of the year, 3-2 over the North Shore. Next up, we go from Earth to Mars for the meeting between Northern Lakes and Duluth Marshal. So who would find the back of the net first? Aubrey Johnson fires, but is stopped. Myra Trupper gets another look and takes another shot to put the game's first goal away. It's 1-0 Marshall. Still skating the first, Annie Bachan with the puck. She finds the captain in the zone, and Ilsa Lindemann does what she does. It's 2-0 Marshall. Then how about this? Nina Thorson is as cool as a cucumber, making it look easy. Top Cheddar just waiting for the Jordan shrug after that one, and Hilltoppers still remain on top 3-0. But believe it or not, we are still in the first, and Marshall is still cooking from the blue line to blue line. Avery Leanne riding solo. Slight work for her, too. That's goal number 4 and counting as Marshall showcases sheer dominance, earning an 11-1 victory over Northern Lakes. Let the high school hockey season begin, everybody.
Let's go.
And then December 7th, Thursday night face-off right here.
Can't wait.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Circle your calendars.
It's already been